Coco is the latest from Pixar, starring Anthony Gonzalez, Gael Garcia Bernal, Benjamin Bratt, Alana Eubank, and a string of many others, and is directed by Lee Unkrich and Adrian Molina. It tells the, in some ways familiar, story of young Miguel, played by Anthony Gonzalez, whose upbringing revolves heavily around shoemaking in the business of shoe sales, which is the career path of just about all family members and many generations. But Miguel, however, has other ideas of being a musician, which is what he's truly passionate about. He has dreams of breaking out in the arts, much to the strict disapproval of his family. He looks up to his idol, Ernesto de la Cruz, played by Benjamin Bratt, who's a musician who plays the classical Mexican-infused sounds of the 30s and 40s. Along the way to achieving this dream, Miguel finds himself in the land of the dead, where he meets a series of deceased skeletal characters such as Hector, played by Gael Garcia Bernal, Mama Imelda, played by Alana Eubank, and Ernesto de la Cruz himself, played by Benjamin Bratt, all of whom are sort of tied into Miguel's family and past in some way, and more specifically his great-grandmother Coco. So this is a film where I deliberately don't want to give away too much of the plot, because there are some surprises thrown into this very tightly written screenplay helmed by directors Lee Unkrich and Adrian Molina, as well as 2 other credits, which is usually a bad sign when there's lots and lots of writing credits on a film. Coco succeeds for a number of reasons. As mentioned, parts of the story may seem familiar to some, but this is an example of when it's the details that truly make the film, as opposed to the overall general big picture.
That was perfect.
Perfect. Mr. Wood, do you know anything about the art of film production?
Well, I like to think so.
That cardboard headstone tipped over. This graveyard is obviously phony.
Nobody will ever notice that. Filmmaking is not about the tiny details, it's about the big picture.
The big picture?
Yes.
To quote Roger Ebert, it's not about what it's about how it's about it. And in common storytelling, there's really only very few general story outlines that we sort of hear from synopsis to synopsis, movie to movie, but it's the details and the variations on those storylines that truly make a film. Examples are tone, pacing, dialogue, sound design, music, performance, editing, world building, and infinite other themes and subtexts and styles. In the case of Coco, the pace and charm and wit and energy behind the, in theory, familiar storyline and themes are what truly make it. This is a truly wonderful, uplifting, and entertaining piece by Pixar, and as is the case with most original Pixar films, the direction the story takes is complex and thematic. It deals with memory, death, dementia, passion, drive, family values, rebellion, and more, all while still remaining completely accessible and child-friendly, unlike Inside Out, which I know is an unpopular opinion. But overall, Coco is damn fun. The colours just simply explode and radiate, and the animation of the character, world, and production design and environment is just so detailed and rich and imaginative without feeling overloaded or bloated like some other recent and not so recent movies can.
It's so dense, every single image has so many things going on. It's so dense, every single image has so many things going on. It's so dense, every single image has so many things going on. It's so dense, every single image has so many things going on.
There's bits in the beginning that were reminding me of a less traumatizing and horrifying and more Disney-ified version of Spirited Away, in an ordinary character suddenly finds themselves thrown into a world, a parallel universe that's just full of the macabre kind of way. I think my few flaws with the film is that it just could have been a bit funnier. All throughout there's lots of sort of silly slapstick stuff, such as feral yet charming dog is so excited that its tongue wraps around its entire head, and skeletons being able to pull their bodies apart and change shapes, which would have been an animator's dream to create. I didn't find that there were all that many memorable laugh-out-loud moments, such as the sloths or the Godfather reference in Zootopia, or sort of scenes that you come away gawking at that are featured in other Pixar works, such as Monsters, Inc., The Toy Stories, and The Incredibles. There's also tiny little nitpicky things revolving around the plot, such as character sort of decisions and motivations and reactions that don't perhaps quite click perfectly into place. Overall, Coco is a movie I could recommend to anyone and everyone over the age of 5. It's probably the most emotional I've ever been during a Pixar movie. There is true beauty and charm behind it. The story and characters are all very engaging. The singing and music and voice acting is just beautiful, particularly from the talents of Anthony Gonzalez. Look out for him in the future. It's paced excellently. The 100 minutes just simply fly by, and the songs are just beautiful and lovely. And yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on Coco. Let me know what you thought down below, whether you thought it was better than Inside Out, or if you like me, whether you think it's a really, really good movie as opposed to Inside Out, which I know is not something that I'm probably allowed to say, but yeah, let me know anything you want, and I'll catch ya.